First-century Jerusalem was the center of a religious system that operated like a precisely engineered machine. Modern belief systems can often be practiced anywhere. The Old Covenant, however, required a single physical location to function. The rules for divine atonement were absolute. To be forgiven of sins, you had to offer an animal sacrifice. That sacrifice could only be performed by ordained Levitical priests, and those priests were strictly forbidden from offering those sacrifices anywhere except inside the physical walls of the Jerusalem temple. This geographic bottleneck concentrated immense wealth and political influence in the hands of the Sadducees. As the aristocratic sect running the priesthood, their entire existence and authority relied completely on keeping this temple machinery running. But this localized concentration of power created a massive vulnerability. If the physical building were to ever fall, the entire divinely mandated system for interacting with God would simply cease to exist. In the spring of 70 AD, that vulnerability was exploited. Under the command of General Titus, the Roman army laid siege to Jerusalem during the crowded Passover festival. Trapping roughly 3 million people inside the city walls, the Romans initiated a slaughter. By the time the siege ended, over 1 million Jews had been killed. The physical landscape of the city was erased. Roman forces methodically dismantled the urban infrastructure, leveling Jerusalem to the ground until no functional structures were left standing. Amidst the sweeping fires of the conquest, the city's official genealogical records were completely incinerated. The physical tools, the central sanctuary, and the vital administrative records were wiped off the map. God's exact biblical requirements for practicing the Old Covenant religion were now impossible to meet. Because the Sadducees drew their identity and authority entirely from the physical temple, the Roman destruction eradicated their sect. They vanished from history. The Pharisees, however, survived. Their approach to Jewish law had always been decentralized, focusing on daily practice and interpretation rather than strictly requiring a bloody altar in Jerusalem. With the sacrificial system gone, the surviving community had to invent a new way to worship. They replaced the national pilgrimage to a central altar with weekly gatherings in local synagogues. Instead of relying on a hereditary class of Levitical priests, local rabbis stepped up to lead. The ultimate act of devotion shifted from slaughtering a lamb to studying the Torah. By severing the religion from a specific geographic coordinate, the Pharisees built the bridge from an ancient sacrificial system to the rabbinic Judaism practiced today. This adaptation allowed the community to survive, but the destruction left an enormous, unsolvable problem. According to strict biblical law, anyone claiming to be the long-awaited Messiah must be able to officially verify their genealogical descent from King David. Because the fires of 70 AD destroyed those exact administrative ledgers, no future claimant could ever legally prove their lineage. The historical mechanism to verify a Messiah vanished in the flames. Daniel's 70 weeks prophecy outlines a strict 490-year countdown to a specific first-century endpoint. It explicitly placed the death of the Messiah right before the subsequent destruction of the city and sanctuary. The timeline demanded the Messiah arrive before the Romans did. The Romans fulfilled the back half of that prophecy by dismantling the temple. In doing so, they permanently closed the historical window. Arriving as the Messiah after 70 AD became a historical and biblical impossibility. Decades before the Romans arrived, Jesus had surveyed the vast complex and predicted this exact outcome, stating that not one stone of the temple would be left upon another. Early Christians were prepared for the loss because they had already detached their worship from a stone building. They identified the resurrected body of Jesus as the true permanent temple. When the physical walls finally collapsed, Christians saw the ruin as definitive proof that the era of localized animal sacrifice was over and that God's dwelling place had transferred from a building to humanity itself. They understood this through typology. The original sanctuary was explicitly designed as an architectural symbol of creation, built to represent the heavens and the earth. A moment of wonder. Because of this, the fiery collapse of Jerusalem serves as a historical microcosm. The destruction of the architectural model of creation anticipates the final judgment and the future dissolution of the physical world. The leveling of the Roman era effectively severed humanity from the rigid machinery of the ancient world. Out of the rebel of a single geographic location, the decentralized and spiritual systems that define the modern landscape of both Judaism and Christianity were born.